Hi, Nikko, Mabel, and Bo. How are you three doing today?
Good, good, Trey. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to chat with you all about Sterling Point. This will be a spoiler interview, so feel free to talk about the events of the season because it will run after premiere. So we can talk about the events of the season. So,
Excited.
Mabel, I will start with you first because Mabel was like clocking everyone's tea like low key this season. I was like, why is she eating the girls up like this? But at the same time, I feel like she has a lot going on because not only does she have a mother who's not present at the moment, but she also has a sister who is asking her to, cover for her and do things where she, has to be in a role where she might have to seem older than what she actually is. So what was it like for you to play a character who had a lot of things going on outside of herself, but also had some internal things that she was dealing with as well? Well.
It was so cool, and to like what helped me was writing notes next to my lines on my script, so like the lines have further meaning and stuff.
Hmm.
And I love like when I see like the character description, I don't really think about the age, I think about the qualities and the situation. And that really helped. And it was just like I talked to Megan as well about how she's like upset that her mom wasn't there, and then she like expresses it with anger, and then she just gets a bit confused, but like and then we had this idea whether are you really angry or are you just sad? And she's just so insightful and forthright, and I love playing her.
And Bo, next for you, there was this big blowout, fight scene where Una's like, you're gonna go to New York, you're gonna forget about me. And I feel like it was so interesting to see that line between like both the anger and the hurt, because she's really hurt, but the way
Mm.
she's acting out as if it seems like she's angry about it and she's upset about it when it's really just deep hurt. What was it like for you to be able to toe that line in your performance and making sure that the true feelings that Una's going through that in that moment are being coming across, even though, there's also a lot of the fire that the character has
Mm.
sometimes gets the anger and the hurt mismatched.
Yeah, no, I mean, gosh, I remember when we were coming up to the lead up of filming that scene, I was so nervous for it because it's such like an important part of their storyline as a couple. Um, we did it in many, many different ways, so it was really interesting to watch which one they chose in the edits. But I don't know, I feel like in any situation of conflict, I find myself sometimes kind of trying to mask what I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling really hurt, then I'll probably put up a layer, a barrier of like defense, because you don't like if someone's hurt you, if someone's crossed a line, you're not going to let them in the way that Una would have done with Ramona had she not passed that boundary of hers. Um, I mean, it's yeah, it's shocking and it's so sad. Like I remember reading it for the first time that scene and just being like, it's such a shame, but it's natural to for young relationships to go haywire and also like it's communication styles and you learn them as you grow. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's a really sad scene, but it was really fun to act. Like it was
Yeah.
cool to be a bit catty with
Yeah.
Ramona.
Yeah,
Harmony.
it was sad because it's sad to see, but I was like, wow, they're acting down like okay, like tens.
Heavy on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Nico, for you, I love how Sully has such unique relationships with every different person in the group, and he doesn't really take sides in between each other. Like I feel like he really feels empathy for everyone in the situation. But I do think one of the most unique and the one I like the most is his dynamic with Connor, which is someone he literally just met and helps him plan, a Camp Rock slash Allison Stoner themed birthday, which, as a Camp Rock
Why
fan,
not?
I love that. Like
Me
just the fact
too.
that Megan even came up with that is just like iconic to
Genius.
me. But
Yeah.
what did you like about playing a character who, there's a world where I think your character could just be like a talk to character, but I don't think that he becomes it because he actually does give solid, great advice and is there for each person in different ways.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting, like discovering those moments with each friend. A big part of, I guess, my prep for it is I journaled a lot and made up fan fiction in my head about how all these friends would have met, and that really gave me such strong guidelines about how to navigate giving them advice. And I'm so glad that you picked up on that. Like you're so right. Like giving advice to Una is drastically different from how Sully gives advice to Ellis, for example, or Ramona.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, of course, of course. Well, thank you three so much for chatting with me. Can't wait to see the season again. And fingers crossed for season two. And
Fingers
I hope
crossed.
you, yes, yes. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Trey.
Thank
You
you so much,
too. Thank
Trey.
Hi,
you.
Jacob and Daniel. How are you both doing today?
Hey Trey, good,
How
thank
are
you. How are
you?
you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to chat with you both about Sterling Point. First off, this will be a spoiler interview, so feel free to talk about all of the events of the season because it will run after premiere. So we can dive into the events of season one. I enjoyed season one so much. Fingers crossed that we get season two because there's no way we could end season one and then not pick up after that. So congrats in advance on the launch of this season. Daniel, I'll start with you first, because I was honestly expecting your character to be, on paper, privileged, entitled, et cetera, et cetera. But I do feel like the character was more multi-layered than I thought because, if you lean into a lot of YA tropes, you typically get, rich bad boy versus the boy next door. And I feel like sometimes it's predictable. So I feel like your character kind of, upended what I expected. So what was it like to be able to play a character who may not be what audiences initially may believe him to be?
Thank you. I'm really glad that comes across that nuance within Rory and the kind of multifaceted nature. I think I wouldn't be able to play him otherwise. Like I'll be honest, getting the story and reading the script, and at first you have an idea. I think I had an idea, like you did, of this idea of a love triangle and that idea made me kind of apprehensive almost. And I've just never seen, I guess I've never seen myself as some, dashing guy who's like gonna swoop in and is all confident. And so it was really about talking to Megan and having these conversations about the character and fleshing it out and going from the inside out and figuring out, you know, it's not just enough to have like him, oh he's all loved up on Annie. It's like why? And then I think from those reasons, figuring out why he wanted and needed Annie, it just
Mhm.
brought all of this nuance to it. But the credit really is in the story with Megan and the writers. It's like it was all there on the page with Rory that he actually is a bit more. Yeah, he has his depth. He has his sensitivity. He's not. He has a lot of self-awareness and sometimes too much and it gets in his own way, but yeah, there's always been that depth there, like even from the script. That's what drew me to the part.
And Jacob, for you, like I feel like your character is a yearner, and I think that I initially shipped him with Annie from like the jump, but I was also anticipating this slow burn romance that we kind of got throughout this season. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you felt portraying this character who I feel like he has a lot going on. He has a weird relationship with his father as well, and how, this person comes into his life and kind of adds something that he wasn't expecting. So, what was it like to be able to play a character who's kind of going through that, but also has someone introduced in his life that makes him also think differently about things?
Yeah, great question. Same as Daniel, I think everything comes from obviously the well-written script by Megan and bringing these interesting characters to life was definitely an honor. But I think I relate a lot to Ellis, in the sense that more of a um he's more of a solo adventurer. I kind of see myself in that in a way. And I think I had these conversations with Megan with how do we want to portray Ellis in the series, and how does he not come out as like this, just I don't know, this like snob kind of, and
Mhm.
just make him like come to life and have like this interesting arc. But yeah, I think I really had to dig deep and my own personal events that I've had in my life. I also I've lived similar situations with like family stuff. And my parents got divorced when I was like, honestly I don't even remember, I was like one. But I also had to dig deep into my own personal you know events in life to kind of resonate with Ellis and understand him on a deeper level.
And if we are fortunate enough to get a season two of Sterling Point, what's one aspect of your character that may not have been dove into in season one that you would like to see if you had an ideal situation, what's something that you would like to see your characters do or take on or experience in a second season?
For me, I was saying this earlier to Jacob as well. Like, there's so much humor in the show, and it's brilliant. Like, I think it's something that sets the show apart and makes it really fresh and unique. Is not only the humor, but the style of humor, and that is very
Mhm.
current. And I think Rory's character has a certain sense of humor with Annie and indulges in it, but there's always a kind of awkwardness or a sensitivity or like this. He's kind of trying to stay in control of the situation at all times and making flirty jokes or making. I'd really love to get to lean more into the humor side of things and have Rory be a little bit less insecure and a little less worried and actually uh joke around a bit more, maybe be a bit more free.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
good at that, so that definitely wouldn't be hard for you.
Off camera maybe, but I'm sure it's a whole different kettle of fish on camera.
Silly guy, this guy. But no, I mean, obviously me too. I'd love to, bring a little more humor to the character, but I think, obviously things can't just be sunshines and rainbows. Like I'd
Yeah,
love Ellis to just, or I'd love for at least, for the relationship of Annie and Ellis to, have like a sort of break moment, break moment, pardon, in the second season, if we get one. But yeah, I'd love to just like play a heartbroken Ellis and see how that goes, and see
yeah,
where that takes him, and how he'd live through it, and what he'd be doing of his days, and how that would affect him. I think that'd be interesting for a season two. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love to see that too. I definitely would love to see that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you to so much for chatting with me. Can't wait to watch this season again, and fingers crossed for season two. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You
Thank you so
too.
much. Have a good one. Hi, everyone. How's it going today?
Good,
Pretty
how are
good. Good to
you?
see you.
I'm doing great. Excited to chat with you all about Sterling Point. This will be a spoiler interview that will run after premiere, so feel free to talk about all the events that happened in season one. Elle-Maija, I'll start with you first. Do you think that there is a path forward between Joe and Kate, especially since we learned that, Ramona actually is not his daughter? And regardless of whatever you think, how do you think it just will impact them moving forward? Granted, all these secrets that have been unearthed.
God, it's so tough to say, but I think that in order to have like a deeply loving relationship, honesty is key. And Kate discovers that there's this lie that they've been living with for so long, and I was heartbroken for her. So I hope she chooses herself and finds peace. Um, but who knows? We'll see if there's a season two.
Yeah, yeah. Fingers crossed on that, by the way. Because I mean, the way the season ends, we have to have a season two, obviously. So I'm gonna tell Prime Video we need a season two. And
The way the
Jay,
industry is going, we also have to have a season two.
Yeah.
that part, that part. And Jay, for you, um, I'm sure at the end of season one that Steven is probably going to feel like he is gaining a daughter, but also losing a daughter because we see all season he feels pretty strongly about her not staying on the island. So, how do you think that at the end of the season and leading into, if we get more, how he feels about the decision that each of the girls makes?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this a lot. It's just like I do feel like I'm just standing on the shoulders of just like giants in terms of the way that Megan Park built this season and this story. It's just an excellent. It's just such a deep story that she's telling, and to have it built so well and to be able to show up and be there at that final moment. It's just a huge privilege as an actor and a creative person. I mean, I have a 17-year-old daughter right now, and if she decided to leave my house a year early, I mean, like, I can barely deal with the fact that she might leave next year.
Mm.
I mean, granted, kids aren't leaving home as much anymore. I'm like, fingers crossed that she but you don't want to hold them back, but you want them as long as you can have them. And so
Yeah.
to have to have that person be pulled away from you, and of course with Steven to have it mirror the trauma, the biggest trauma of his life,
Yeah.
is terrifying and devastating. And yet to be gaining a daughter that is the spitting image of his late wife, and to potentially have another chance at parenting, particularly for somebody who really needs it,
Hmm.
is super exciting. So, I mean, it's just as I'm describing it to you now, it just feels Shakespearean. You know, it
Yeah.
feels like that's what life's about. This is what great storytelling's about. So just to be a part of it, it just feels, it's an honor.
And Missy, for you, actually, I love the character of Denise. I feel
I love
like,
Denise too. I want to
you
go on the
know,
record and just say, like, somebody that just says what they feel in this day and
yeah.
age, it's just like so, it's rip roaring refreshing to see it happen.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I would feel like sometimes I would feel like the character could probably lean into like, quote unquote cool mom tropes. She doesn't always have the best timing per se, but I did love the advice that she does give to characters such as Connor and such as Steven. So how is it like to play this character who, just says what they want off rip, but I think she does offer refreshing takes on a lot of the issues that a lot of the characters are going through this season.
You got to
Oh wait,
unmute.
Missy, you're on mute.
Shoot. Sorry,
You're
everybody.
good. You're good.
It was a really fun character to play in that, and I do play a lot of characters that can tend to be a bit broad, and so what I loved about her is she was very, she was still a little cuckoo, but
Mhm.
she definitely was just where she was in the moment and saying sort of what she wanted to say. And then you see that she actually does really care and she really does see what's going on. And, as much as she, like the whole, like, I feel like the thing uh, with Ramona, where she's like, you know, just tell her this, what you're doing right now is worse,
Mhm.
like all of this, whatever you're trying to do to protect everybody is making it way worse. And I feel like the dudes in the story, they're holding on to like so much, adult parents, no offense, holding on to such huge like lids on things, trying to
Mhm.
control the narrative. And it's like what's happened, and there's so much that they don't even know, so some of it can't be blamed on them, but just the idea of like I mean, Stephen being like, we're going right now. It's
Yeah.
like we just found out we have this a grandfather who owns an island. I have a sister, and with her, I feel like it's really fun to just be. I mean, she's not in those situations, so she's really just, I think, part of what the audience is thinking
Yeah.
and feeling needs to happen. So I think on some level she's a bit of that character, that Shakespearean character. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the fool or if it's where the truth comes out.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, I need Denise to give advice to your character from Stop That Train, which I saw recently. They didn't make the same, but she needs to give her advice. Let's have
I think
that.
she might be a little too far gone for that.
Too far gone, too far gone. Well, thank you three so much for chatting with me. I can't wait to watch this series again, and fingers crossed for season 2, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Trey.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Trey.